This is Cam from Epic Conversions, and it's been a while since I did a live stream, so I wanted to, get back in the saddle on this. And today I had a thought I wanted to share with you, and it's just about getting attention. So, um, before I before I talk about this, I should probably mention that I do have a product for sale right now. I just put it out yesterday. It's called Overcoming the Off Season. And it's all about how to get attention when maybe you don't really deserve that attention. Maybe there's other people with bigger budgets than you. Maybe there's other people with, greater brand equity than you. And you could make the argument that maybe you don't really deserve the attention for your niche or for where you're at in your business. But how can you get it anyway, right? So this is a really interesting thing because one of the best places to learn about this is actually go to sports, uh, specifically the NFL, right? Specifically the NFL, because the NFL, they play games maybe 4 months out of the year. 4 months out of the year, they're playing football games, and yet they manage to keep their fans' attention all year long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months out of the year. They keep the attention of their fans. Um, how do they do it? And not only how do they do it, but how could that be translated to a small business like a kitchen table entrepreneur? That is what I talk about in overcoming the off season. But anyways, that particular product is out there right now, and if you wanna check that out, it's epicconversions.com forward slash steal attention. Epicconversions.com forward slash steal attention. Epicconversions.com forward slash steal attention. So anyways, or is it stealing attention? I think it might be stealing attention. Epicconversions.com forward slash stealing attention. Epicconversions.com forward slash stealing attention. Epicconversions.com forward slash stealing attention. I can't remember what I made that URL. It's either steal attention or stealing attention. One of those two things. Um, yeah. So, anyways, that's what's going on. I'll tell you a little story about attention, though. Something that a lot of people probably wouldn't think about. Um, so I noticed that when I work online, and as I'm doing my work lately, I've been gravitating towards this record. It's called "Remarkably Human." Um, and it's just guitar instrumental music. It's by this guy named Nick Johnston. Nick Johnston, fantastic musician, fantastic guitar player, fantastic artist. But he puts out these kind of guitar virtuoso records. They don't really have any lyrics in them. It's just guitar music. And so, like, what I find is when I'm doing, like, copy, when I'm writing, like, sales letters or I'm writing, like, email copy or I'm doing any kinda, like, content that requires me to think, like, and use words, I can't listen to, like, lyrical music. I need to listen to, like, just music, right? It helps me kinda get into that flow state or whatever. And I started out, figuring this out. This works for me really well with like beats, like rap beats. And they were just like the beats themselves, and they weren't and there wasn't any, lyrics, no rap lyrics over top of them. They were just the beats. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And it's very repetitive kind of music, right? Um, but then what happened was I got kind of tired. This is a few years ago, right? I got kind of tired of the rap beats, and I kind of moved back into like guitar music, and that's kind of where I've been. I had like this kind of like side quest into jazz, where I was listening to jazz for a little bit, but then I moved into to guitar virtuoso music, and that has been. And the thing is, it can't just be any guitar virtuoso music for me, for whatever reason. These are the intricacies of using your brain to do things online and to work, right? So Anyways, this record, "Remarkably Human," is fantastic. I don't know how many times I've listened to it by this guy, Nick Johnston, and I must have listened to his record, "Remarkably Human," who knows, 50, 60 times? I've listened to it a lot. I've listened to it a lot when I go to work. It's almost like a go-to if I wanna write a sales letter or if I wanna write a series of emails for a campaign, it's like a go-to for me to listen to that music. It helps me get into, like, a flow state. Now, the funny part about that, and this is gonna come back to the point of what I wanna talk about today. The funny part about that is I have never I listen to that guy's music on YouTube. I listen to his music on YouTube, alright? So, I have never reached out to him and said, "Hey, I love your music." I've never done it, you know? So, when Nick Johnston looks at his YouTube views and he looks at his views and his statistics, I'm just gonna be another number, okay? I'm just gonna be another number like, "Oh, he had, like, 5,000 views on that album today? Okay, I'm just one of 5,000, right?" But I don't but, like, he doesn't know, like, how much that music has meant to me over the last couple years. It's meant a lot to me, but I've never reached out to him and say, "Hey, I love your music." I've never done it, okay? Now, I can tell you this, when I publish a piece of content, and it gets, like, 50 views or 100 views, and it doesn't get very much attention, it gets largely ignored by the masses. I'm human like you guys, right? Like, you think, "Oh, wow, what am I even putting this stuff out for? People are just ignoring it. This is not going great for me." But I can tell you something. Long ago, I learned to, like, ignore that voice, right? Because there's 2 things I can tell you. The first thing is, you know, every view counts, right? Because if you're standing in a room with 50 people and you have something to sell, there's a good chance you're gonna sell 1 or 2 of them. If you're standing in a room with 100 people and you have something to sell, there's a good chance that you're gonna sell 1 or 2 of them. Now, obviously, 1,000 people would be better, 10,000 people would be even better. But it doesn't change the fact that if 50 to 100 people see your thing, there's a good chance you might get a couple sales, right? So that still matters. That still matters. And the thing is, if you get like 50 views on something and nobody comments, it doesn't mean they didn't see it. It comes back to that Nick Johnston thing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that Remarkably Human record. I've never commented on his work. I've never said, "Hey, I love your work." I've never emailed him and said, "Hey, I love your work." And you know what else though? And here's this kind of leads into free content. This leads into free content. I've never went out of my way to buy a record by Nick Johnston. Never done it. Never done it. But you know what? He's never offered me to something for sale. He's never pitched something. I've never went to listen to one of his records and like found a pitch for, something he wants me to buy. Right? If he did do that, then maybe I would have bought it. So that kind of leans into like this idea of free content and how we use free content. And it's not to say that free content is bad. It's just to say that free content has a point. It has a purpose. And if you're not using it in the right way, then you could walk away from the free content and feel like it was a waste of your time. You know what I mean? So, anyways, just some thoughts this morning. I got some stuff I have to take care of today, so I can't stay on here too long. But I just wanted to, let you know that I got that new one out for sale now. It's at, like I said, it's at epicconversions.com/stealing attention. Epicconversions.com/stealing attention. Epicconversions.com/stealing attention. The name of the product is Overcoming the Off Season. I got that thing priced really low, so if you're balling on a budget, you can still afford it. And it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you. It's about an hour long of training. It's gonna help you figure out how to get more attention. All right. So, anyways, that's it for me. I hope you have an amazing day. Have a great Friday. and I'll catch up to you later. All right, peace.